The sirens were the first thing the neighbors heard. Before anyone even realized what was happening, 10 police patrol cars rolled down the quiet street. Lights flashing, engines rumbling, until they came to a stop in front of a small, worn-down house belonging to a mechanic named Daniel Brooks. Officers stepped out, hands on their belts, scanning the area as if responding to a major crisis. People whispered from their windows, wondering what crime Daniel could have possibly committed. But if they had known what happened just 24 hours earlier, they would have understood why this moment was about to change his life forever. It had all started on an ordinary afternoon inside the noisy, oil-scented workshop where Daniel worked. He was known as the silent guy, the one who fixed cars faster than anyone else but rarely spoke. He was the type of man who minded his own business, took pride in his work, and avoided conflict at all costs. But fate didn't care about his peaceful nature. It had plans of its own. That afternoon, the garage door burst open and a woman stumbled inside. Her uniform torn, her face pale, one hand pressed against her bleeding shoulder. She was a police officer, Officer Maria Hayes. She had been pursuing a robbery suspect when she was hit and injured. Somehow, she managed to drag herself to the nearest place she could find help, Daniel's workshop. Daniel rushed to her without hesitation. He grabbed a rag to slow the bleeding, guided her to a seat, and told his co-worker to call 911. His hands shook as he cleaned the wound, but he stayed focused. He knew she needed help more than he feared getting involved. But his boss, Mr. Carter, the type of man whose heart was as cold as the metal tools in the workshop, stormed out from his office screaming. "What do you think you're doing, Daniel? We're not a hospital," he yelled. "She's bleeding all over the floor. She's scaring away customers." Daniel stared at him in disbelief. "She's injured, sir. She needs help. I can't just ignore her." Carter's face twisted in anger. "You're wasting time. This is a business, not a charity. Clean up this mess and get her out of here." Officer Hayes tried to stand, but her legs buckled. Daniel caught her just before she hit the floor. Something snapped inside him. "I'm not throwing her out," he said firmly. Carter didn't like being challenged, especially not by his quiet, obedient employee. "Then you're fired," he spat. "Pack your things and leave. Right now." Daniel knew he needed this job, but he also knew he couldn't live with himself if he walked away from someone who needed help. So he stayed with Officer Hayes until the ambulance arrived. She thanked him repeatedly, her voice weak but sincere. He didn't realize it then, but that simple act of kindness was going to return to him in a way he never expected. Before the story continues, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe Kindness Valley so you never miss these powerful stories that carry a message worth remembering. Your support helps the channel grow and reach more amazing viewers like you. When Daniel returned home that night, jobless and mentally exhausted, he tried not to feel hopeless. He cooked a simple dinner, sat on his worn-out couch, and thought about how he would explain everything to his landlord. Little did he know that the woman he helped wasn't just any police officer. She was the niece of the city's chief of police, and her injury had triggered a full departmental response. The next morning, he woke up to the sound of engines outside. But it wasn't one patrol car, it was 10. He stepped outside cautiously, wondering if this was some kind of misunderstanding. His heart pounded as uniformed officers surrounded his yard. Neighbors whispered and recorded from behind curtains. The chief of police, a tall, stern-looking man with silver hair, walked directly up to Daniel. His face was unreadable. "Are you Daniel Brooks?" the chief asked. Daniel swallowed hard. "Yes, sir. Did I do something wrong?" The chief shook his head slowly. "Quite the opposite." To Daniel's shock, the chief placed a hand on his shoulder, not in accusation, but in gratitude. "You helped my niece yesterday when she needed it most. She told me everything. You treated her with respect and protected her when others wouldn't. For that, we owe you." Daniel blinked, unsure how to respond, as the chief continued. "I came here personally to thank you. Not many people would have done what you did. You stood up for what was right, even at the cost of your job." One of the officers stepped forward, holding a sealed envelope. The chief handed it to Daniel. Inside was a formal letter from the department, praising his bravery and civic duty. But more surprising was what came next. "We've also spoken to the owner of the auto shop," the chief said. "He refused to reinstate you, which is his loss. Several local businesses have already heard about what happened. They're ready to offer you employment, good pay, better conditions. You won't be out of work. Daniel felt a weight lift off his shoulders. For the first time in days, he breathed freely. Officer Hayes, now with her arm in a sling, stepped out from one of the patrol cars and approached him. "I told them you saved me," she said softly. "Thank you for not giving up on me." The entire street was silent as they watched the emotional moment. The chief then added one final gesture. "And if you ever need anything, our door is open. People like you are the reason we still believe in humanity." The police cars slowly pulled away, but the impact of their visit stayed behind. The neighborhood now saw Daniel not as a quiet mechanic, but as a man with character, courage, and heart. Sometimes, doing the right thing costs you something in the moment, but kindness has a way of returning to you when you least expect it. And for Daniel, that return came in the form of 10 patrol cars, not to arrest him, but to honor him. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want more powerful, emotional narratives like this, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Kindness Valley, that your support means everything and helps the channel grow, so I can bring you more inspiring stories.